What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Lucid, I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down what shorts are doing, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. Starting off, Lucid is up 1.94%. There is 4 minutes left in the trading day, so most likely it's going to be kind of where it's at right now. So currently $3.16. Did have a high of $3.25. All of this optimism is associated to just the broader market slash Powell, so nothing really new from Lucid for news or SEC filings, nothing like that. So it's been relatively quiet from them ever since they did put out their Q2 numbers. Of course, there's a lot of FUD that is floating around, so I do want to talk on the level of manipulation that is also happening to really suppress Lucid. So I want to go over that. Looking at volume, 30.9 million shares being traded, 22.1 is the average. So today, very heavy volume day. A lot of the volume is being done by algorithmic trading, clearly piggybacking off of the broader market's optimism. At the same time, you do see roughly around 7 transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000, somewhat evenly divided between buying and selling. So again, that's something to just keep in mind. But I want to go over some of the data points before I talk on some manipulation, starting off with shorts. So right now shorts are increasing 2.37 million shares. So very doubtful about today's green day. Of course, that's why they're increasing, but 28.7% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 254.69 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization is 93.76, and then short score is 95.25. Cost of borrow average is fairly high as well, so 23.56. I did a video under my other channel, Financial Journey, on the top 5 most heavily shorted stocks, and yours truly did regain, kind of keep that top spot once again for the last, I think, 4 weeks. So pretty impressive stuff, I guess, if you want to consider that impressive all in all. But when it comes down to shorts, a lot of people on social media are calling for a squeeze when it comes to Lucid, which could come. In my opinion, you need that catalyst, and possibly their upcoming earnings will be that deciding point for the next big catalyst for Lucid. And because there's a lot of things that's been floating around that they could really talk on, such as even the high-end a potential deal, or just maybe something unknown to current investors, Gravity. There's a lot of things that they can talk on. But so this is a good transition point since I kind of went over shorts. I want to talk on the level of manipulation that is happening. So when it came down to their Q2 earnings, I think generally speaking, a lot of Lucid investors, including myself, are very happy about that. So in case you kind of missed it, these are their Q2 production and delivery numbers, 2,300 in delivered, 2,100 in produced. I see that as all right, moving in the right direction at least. Some analysts, not so much. So you did have roughly, I think, 3 official ones. You had this article that also came out that said CFRA sets $1 bid price target despite better than feared deliveries. In here, like, they don't really bring up exactly why they're choosing that rating. It goes over the cost of goods sold. It's still relatively high per vehicle, but still nothing of substance in here. So, and also on a side note, I know EV, usually this agency right here is relatively positive for the most part, but I feel like this one is just completely FUD out of left field, because if we pop over to here, so IBKR, sorry for all the trippy stuff, you do see some of the latest analyst ratings are like, they were negative, but you don't see CFRA. You see theirs was last done 6 months ago. So that $1 rating either was just a fugazi, this individual Garrett, who has a 55% success rating, mind you, probably just said it in passing, not officially reiterated it. So it wasn't a official rating. So once again, it's kind of, I don't know, it's just a lot of FUD in my opinion. Aside from that, what I previously did have up, I always like to look at just the article, sometimes without even popping open one specific one, just to see the sentiment, right? Because when it comes to Lucid, like, there's sometimes larger entities that like to spread misinformation, such as this. And funny enough, before I was even preparing for this video, I did get a comment on one of my old videos, just said, hey, they got a 5,000 vehicle recall, haha. It's like, well, this was actually came out yesterday for one. But on a side note, I see a lot of articles also coming out like as of its new information today, such as this: so Lucid to recall 5,000 Air sedans due to software defect. This already came out yesterday, and technically Lucid already rectified the deficiency on June the 24th, 2024 through over the air. Anyone who hasn't done that update, yeah, I think it's going to be mandatorily done, if that's even a word, in August. So it's just a lot of misinformation, and I feel like that is just to guide investors to sell. And usually you get this type of like misinformation on stocks that have a very heavy retail float. So basically 25.82% of the float is held by retail. If you subtract the PIF, well, hell, that just makes it like 60, 70%, something like that. But I don't know, it's just one of those weird things that the market likes to really freak out retail for whatever reason. So yeah, I don't know. You gotta always do your own due diligence at the end of the day. I get it, like when an analyst is giving a rating for a specific purpose and whatever is not for their own benefit or hidden agenda, then I get it. Like sometimes you gotta be bearish when it's bearish, but like Lucid, their recent data is very optimistic. Like they're moving in the right direction. It does not make logical sense for Adam Jonas to give a $3 sell rating when, for instance, Rivian is burning through a excessive amount of cash, and Adam Jonas is extremely bullish on Rivian and as well Tesla. So it's just, you guys always got to trust your gut. As well, realize that there's going to be a lot of volatility in the foreseeable future, so trust your own due diligence. That's honestly, you're the only ones that can guide yourself right, and if you think it's correct, then stick to it, right? So hopefully that made sense on kind of just the manipulation that's happening. Kind of comical if you think about it, because like I said, under this channel and my financial journey, especially in the past, I'm generally a straight arrow. Some people really hate that because sometimes during bearish times, a lot of my videos are bearish. I resemble exactly what the data points are saying. I'm not here to sway you guys. I'm definitely not a hype person. I literally just read the data and I interpret like that. I interpret what the data is truly saying. So it's kind of funny when some people is like, oh, you're so bearish, oh, you're so bullish. I just plainly read the data, but I never try to influence you. So for instance, if this data, what shorts are doing, is very bearish, I say it. I don't try and twist it. Same goes for other data. So hopefully you guys do appreciate that. And so with me saying it how it is, I actually do like their Q2 numbers. It at least is moving in the right direction. Plus it is clearly showing that they're getting rid of inventory, meaning that there is an increase in demand. So I don't know. I'm just waiting up until their upcoming Q2 earnings, which is slated for August the 5th, to hear exactly what analysts do have to say. Because it's kind of funny, like if you go back to the transcripts, I'm not going to waste your time and do that, but if you go back to some of the transcripts, all these analysts, so John Murphy, this Andre Shepard, Tobias, Stephen, and Stefan, so all of those analysts are very two-faced. During the thing, they're like, oh, congratulations on your earnings, blah, blah, blah. And then they go and say, hey, you know what? Fuck Lucid, here's your $2 price target. Obviously out of context, and my apologies on the French there, but like it's just kind of comical how people react. A lot of just fakeness in like on Wall Street. But enough of all that. I kind of ranted for enough. Looking at data. So starting off with options, 684,000 in calls, 422 in puts. 57% of all the options being done today are optimistic and bullish. But then again, with shorts increasing that amount, that's probably a lot associated to them just hedging. So again, something to keep in mind. And right now, based on the call options that are being purchased, there's a consensus for it to be above 350 by the end of even this week. And then looking at puts, more so anticipated to be between that 3 and 350. So there's a lot more upside anticipated in my opinion. So aside from all of that though, let's talk on the technicals. Right now with it closing at $3.15, it is trading between this R2 and this R3. So very optimistic, very bullish, but then again, it's some to do with Lucid, I think just better than anticipated Q2 numbers, but at the same time, just the broader market is rallying. So kind of piggybacking off of that. So 301 is a very strong support that you'll want to watch for it to hold in the next several trading days. Tomorrow's CPI, I do believe, so that should cause a lot of volatility. And this R2 wasn't even touched today, so again, that's kind of a positive thing. And then $3.20 is going to be that next strong resistance / target. It did break above that today, just not really enough to kind of stay there. And that is because of algorithms were really pushing it higher rather than institutions. So I think it's just a lot of people need to see the data, and so CPI is coming out tomorrow, so that should give at least some institutions some validation to buy the dip or buy Lucid, buy a lot of growth stocks. So tomorrow is definitely going to be very important data. On the actual chart itself, higher percentile of the Bollinger Band, stochastic, you do see it as very overbought. So the first sign of weakness associated to Lucid, you could see it go down essentially. A number of retail investors were getting in today. So all in all, pretty exciting times are coming for Lucid. I think it's long past due. A lot of investors have been very, very patient, probably too much so for Lucid, but whatever, we are at the stage how we are. So lucky for those individuals that have an average at $3 or sub, or possibly even 4, 5, something like that. So just obviously you guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. If you feel it's justified to average down, then do so. Like I've said in the past, typically whenever Lucid does get above these key kind of pivot points and moving averages, the stock does go up a good like 20 to 40% in some cases. So there is still a lot more room for it to go. Just there's a lot of moving parts right now. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with Lucid? And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. This is a kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said though, appreciate all of you watching.